Good morning, everyone. Actually, good afternoon. I'm just realizing it's 12:10. I've been in this garage all morning doing private yoga with, I did a class at 9 a.m., which was beyond amazing. It was definitely far better than I could have imagined, which is really cool because holy moly, just been trying to navigate this whole thing, you guys. And it's just, hey, Mike, so happy you're here. But just navigating this is just so wild to me. There's just so much in it. And today's yoga flow, and really just this theme of this week that I'm really talking about, is how to create a sense of safety within ourselves. And I think it's a perfect time to really talk about how we have these structures and we have these systems and we have these things in place that we look to. And we look to those things for comfort, and we look to those things for safety, and we look to those things to actually kind of be an anchor for us. And we even look to our teachers, and we look to our partners and our loved ones and our friends and our communities also, to anchor us in. And that's amazing, and that's great, and it's good that we have those things. But at the end of the day, we got to find that anchor, within ourselves, because things can change. And when they start changing, if you don't have that internal anchor, you're going to feel super duper wobbly. And so what I've been talking about, in this morning, just with my students and my clients, online, is how do we create that internal anchor, right? And I just want to use a yoga posture here for an example. Say you come into a tree pose, or a warrior 2 pose, or a warrior 3 pose, and your eyes are open and you've got your drishti and you're focusing on a certain point, on the floor or on the wall or on the ceiling. But if that point moves, if it shifts for whatever reason, so does your anchor, right? So does your ability to stay centered. So what I always love to do in my classes is present an opportunity to close our eyes. If you just do that right now in this moment, before you close your eyes, just look around and just notice. Even though you're not aware, you're using things. Right now I can see myself, and I'm kind of looking at who's joining, and there's all these things that we're sort of using to kind of compute what's happening and to find some kind of an anchor. Okay, but I love meditating before I get on these calls or these videos, because I got to find that internal anchor if I'm going to stabilize myself regardless of what's going on. Who's here, who's not here, do people like it, do people care? I can't worry about that, right? So let's take a moment to just close your eyes and just take a deep breath in and out, and look for that deeper knowing within you, that larger perspective. And just tap into that part of you that is connected to universal intelligence, that part of you that is connected to source energy, that part of you that is connected to the bigger plan that is unfolding here, even though there are lots of moments where you might feel disconnected from that. And I just want you to take a few breaths and really just give yourself the opportunity to stabilize your energy, to stabilize your nervous system, and to find your anchor. And you can start with your breath. That can be your anchor. And you can start to root your energy down into the earth and find your anchor there. And you can start to breathe up into your heart and feel your anchor there. And you'll start to find that the more you do this, you start to establish this really steady place within yourself, like this pillar of light within yourself. And no matter what's going on around you, you've got that anchor. And so you can stay right there in perfect clarity, in perfect harmony, in perfect alignment, even when shit is hitting the fan, right? Even when the people you love are getting affected, or you're getting affected, boom, we're there, right? We're steady, we're stable, we're strong, we're secure. This reminds me of the warrior. This is a warrior-like thing, we're talking about. And we're no longer talking about an external power, right? We're talking about an internal power. And I really feel right now, that is the call, that is the call. What do you believe? What do you believe? And for me personally, I believe in the power of focus. I believe in the power of our belief. But here's the thing with that. You can use that for whatever you want. So if you understand the power of focus, and you have a harmful cause, but you know that if you want to get people, on board with you, all you have to do is get them to focus on that. Guess what? they start focusing on it, they start feeding your vision, and boom. And the same thing happens for light workers, for the people who are out there who say, let's create momentum, let's create energy, let's create focus, let's create awareness around the greater good. And we don't know what that is. We're not trying to pretend like we know what that is, right? But we're just saying we know that there's a greater good in here somewhere. And we know that if we feed this idea that there's a greater good in here somewhere, and we start focusing there and we start putting our attention on that, it starts to get stronger. And I feel like those of us who know that, some have been out in the world and really screaming it from the rooftops, but so many of us have been playing small. I'm included in that. Like not fully freaking owning that, not fully freaking owning that, and sort of waiting for somebody else to own it. Like, who are we waiting for to own that, right? So, and here's the thing with focus, like you give something attention and it gets bigger. It doesn't matter what it is. So even focusing on what we don't want is feeding the monster. It's like walking up to the big scary monster in the cage at the zoo and feeding it food. So it's not about focusing on like, how do I not feed this thing? Or like, oh, don't feed this thing. It's more like, just leave that over there. And what do you want to feed instead? It's like, let's talk about that. What do we want to feed instead? What are we wanting to nurture? What do we want to nourish? What do we want to grow, right? What do we want? What do we want more of, right? And let's just put our attention there. We put our focus there. We put our vibes over there. We surround ourselves with the people, with the communities, with the teachers, with the loved ones that are in that conversation, right? That are in that conversation. So that's why I'm here. I'm here because these are all the things that I wanted to do and that I've been doing, but I've also haven't been fiercely showing up in the way that I know that I can. And so I'm seeing this as an opportunity to fiercely show up, because you guys, what in the heck else are we going to do when we're sitting at home all day, every day, right? So I also just kind of wanted to hash out with you guys some ideas that I've been having about ways that I can serve, ways that I can contribute, ways that I can help you feed the good stuff, in your life, the ways that I can help you feed your spirit, help you feed a healthy mindset, right? Mental health, and also a healthy body, because we all know that they all work together, right? When one of those things are out of alignment, it affects the whole thing. And so it's important to address all three of those things. So some of my ideas, and I guess I'm impromptu, spur of the moment got on here because I feel like I'm just navigating this, and I feel like it's a co-creation, and your feedback is so important. For example, this morning I hopped on with a class at 9 a.m. I've used that technology a lot, but never to actually teach a class. So I had no idea how it was going to go. And the feedback that I got afterwards really helped me in terms of how to move forward. So I would like to hear from you. Like, what are the kinds of things that you would just love to have available to you? And I'll talk to you a little bit about like what I'm kind of getting. First of all, like yoga is of course a big one. I'd like to combine, all the things that I've done over the years of personal training and teaching aerobics classes and teaching meditation and teaching yoga and facilitating workshops and groups and working one-on-one with clients, with mindset. I want to bring it all, to one place, and I want to provide it all. I want sort of like that full integration. So you tell me, like, what would you love to see? What sounds fun to me is creating a yoga cardio flow. So you've got a sequence of yoga, and then you've got an interval of cardio, and a sequence of yoga, an interval of cardio. I see the same thing with yoga and weights, a sequence of cardio, a little bit of weight, sequence of yoga, little weight sequence of yoga, little weight sequence. Just ways to kind of change it up and kind of have some fun with it. And then also just short, quick bursts of, here's a little cardio workout, 20 minutes, right? Here's a little weight workout, 20 minutes. Weekly manifesting meditations, right? So we all, or maybe we don't, but when you're manifesting things in your life, it's important to come into alignment with the things that you want energetically. So we have to line our thoughts up with that. We have to line our energy up with that. We have to line up our physical space with that. So if there are worries or fears or traumas or pain sort of in the way, it's hard to line up with something that we want, because that sort of is up here in that frequency. And if we're in the pain, we're down here. So we've got to kind of clear that stuff out of the way. And that's all the things that I'm wanting to help people do right now. Because I know for me, it's changed my life. All those practices, it has changed my life. And I use them daily. Another thing that I'm really wanting to bring to the table is a supportive, nourishing, badass community of people who can just really be in this together. I know that it's something that I've been wanting to do anyway, and it's like I'm home, so I'm just going for it. But I'll talk to you a little bit about why I feel like that's important, and especially like navigating what platforms, like where I'm going to film videos, how I'm going to share them, stuff like that. For example, this morning, I wanted to do this class and then share it with people, like the people that couldn't be on with us today. I wanted to then share it on a public platform. But then I ran into a little like issue, like you don't think about all the things, and then the things arise and then you kind of deal with it, right? But if I'm teaching a live class, that means I've got 10, 15, 20 people that are there with me also on video. And I can't just go share that class unless I get permission, of course, from all the people either prior to the class or afterwards. So just trying to decide sort of what the best way. And if there's community, then the agreement is we're all in this community. And if we sign up for a live class, we also know that that video will be shared, you know, within the community later. So just kind of throwing it out there and just wanting to know, you know, if any of that resonates for you. I mean, I'm going to do it anyway, but I just am curious, you know, just want to, you know, I think it's like there's this social distancing right now, which is a sort of a separation, like a forced separation right now. And so many are still feeling a lot of fear and a lot of uncertainty. And I certainly know that for me, it can be a bit like that, you know, a bit of a roller coaster. The most recent thing that I'm feeling is just missing my family, you know, missing hugging my mother, hugging my father, you know, and I'm going to need to grieve that because I feel grief in my heart around that. And I'm going to have to sit with that. I'm going to have to let myself really feel that. You know, it's amazing that the appreciation that we're going to start to have for just the littlest of things, like, you know, sitting and holding hands with the people you care about and hugs and things like that. But I also feel like right now, this time of sort of more fear or more uncertainty or, you know, forced separation is also a time where we can actually use all that as a catalyst, you know, for more of the good stuff. We can use all that as a catalyst to lean into a greater version of that down the road, more connection, you know, more intimacy, more love among humanity, more, you know, more healthy communication, less, you know, pointing the finger and less blaming and less all of that, and more just, you know, compassion, more awareness, more mindfulness, more consciousness, you know, more awareness of like, I don't know who's right or wrong in this moment, but what I want is what's best, you know, for the best and the good of all. Like what I want is whatever is in the highest good of all, you know, and nobody knows what that is, right? But we certainly can focus on the energy of that and therefore start to channel that in terms of ideas and insights. And I think the problem is we kind of look to the past and we sort of look to what we know to resolve these things. And in my opinion and experience, when we're trying to like change something this drastically, we've got to reach outside of what we know, right? There are ideas and there are solutions and there are ways of dealing with things that nobody's even thought of yet. You know, you haven't thought of it. I haven't thought of it. The powers that be haven't thought of it, but it's there and it's available to tap into. So that's pretty much all I am going to say about that. And then lastly, if you're still here with me, I would love to hear, I'm going to go live later and just test out one of these ideas. And I'm thinking just like a 20-minute cardio workout, something short, 20-minute weight training workout, something of that nature. I'll go live here on Facebook with that later. So I'll just make a post about that after this. And that way, if you want to join me for that, I'd love for you to join me. I'd love for you to let me know how it felt. You know, what the quality was like for you on your end in terms of the technology. And I'm just kind of feeling this space out and just kind of learning what works. So thank you to everybody who joined. Please feel free to just listen to the replay when you have a moment if you didn't get a chance to hear me from beginning to end. And just know that I'm here. Reach out if you have questions, if you're feeling like you need somewhere or someone, to lean on or support you. I am here. Okay. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day. Sending you love, love, love. Bye for now.